Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaruski, and I've got a lot of questions of people just asking me over and over and over whether Cannibal Barrage or Killing Spree is a better choice for a talent to grab. Now, when it comes to talents, we're going to be talking about PvP talents in particular. We're going to talk about Cannibal Barrage or Killing Spree, basically when you would use one or the other. The answer is actually very simple. It's just that I get this question asked so often, I decided to put out a video basically telling you Cannibal Barrage or Killing Spree. Now, from a PvE perspective, first we gotta take it we gotta take it to the accounting that these both talents can be used for PvE and PvP. So to figure out just how much damage they do and how they would be used for PvP is one way, and then we need to see if they can transition for PvP purposes. So Cannibal Barrage basically is like your AoE based ability. Command a ghosted ship crew to barrage the target area with cannonballs dealing so and so damage. Damage over 1.8 seconds, slowing enemies by 50% for 1.5 seconds, 1 minute cooldown. The spell also has a 35 range, and from the start you can tell that this spell is an AoE, because when you first mark it on the ground you see the circle reticle and you're thinking, oh, that must be some AoE along the lines of death and decay of some sort, like what Death Knights provide. And yes, the ability does deal AoE based damage. What's important to note about this ability is it does have effectiveness for PvP. It does also apply a slow on the enemy, making for healers and other DPS harder to get away from you when you are bursting on them. And it also says the ability doesn't split the damage. That is the important part to look at. Cannibal Barrage does not split damage. When it says, like right here, saying 48k worth of damage, almost 49k worth of damage, it's going to deal 49k to every single person as long as they're in the circle area for 1.8 seconds. So after the 1.8 seconds, it'll dish out full damage and it'll hit everybody for the same amount. For PvP, you can see kind of like the numbers on the beta at max level with all the PvP gear, just how much damage it deals roughly, and you'll also be able to see how much damage does it deal with bursts, so like potential amount of damage you can deal to an enemy. So what's cool about this ability is I feel like it's useful for PvP. It's a 1 minute cooldown, so it's a shorter cooldown. It doesn't deal nearly as much damage as Killing Spree, but it still deals a decent chunk, and it does not split damage if you hit multiple targets. So this spell is probably the best to grab in order to cleave your opponents. Because of the cooldown reduction mechanic that you'll get from Roll the Bones, which you should be utilizing as an Outlaw rogue, Cannibal Barrage outtime is actually shorter than every 1 minute. You can actually have it up a lot more often than a Killing Spree, so you can have access to this ability a lot more often. You can use it to slow enemies, you can use it to burst enemies, you can use it to cleave enemies. It has some usefulness for PvP, and it has a pretty decent range, so you can use it in different situations. I like the flexibility, the short cooldown, and the fair amount of damage that it can deal, with the fact that it can deal that same amount of damage to multiple different targets. So I feel like Cannibal Barrage is a great PvP based ability, but the question is it better than Killing Spree? Killing Spree is an ability that combat rogues have had for a long time. I remember combat rogues having it back in Cataclysm. I remember them having it back in Miza Pandaria, Warlord's General, and now it's a talent. So now it's a choice between Killing Spree or Cannibal Barrage. Now, Killing Spree reads as a 10-yard range, 2-minute cooldown, teleports to an enemy within 10 yards, attacking 7 times over 3 seconds for a certain amount of physical damage with your main hand and a certain amount of damage with your offhand. While Blood Flurry is active, each Killing Spree attack will teleport to and damage a different nearby enemy target. I feel like it started getting changes in Miza Pandaria where it became a single target spell rather than always like Blade Flurry style where it hits everybody around an area. And then Warlord's General then nerfed it by making it CCable, so you can CC it kind of like how you used to be able to CC warriors by hitting them with the disarm while they're using Blade Storm. Another change that came into this ability is after the teleporting effect, after you follow the enemy, you teleport back to the place where you started. So that is something to note with this ability. It no longer has this mobility function to it. Also, you need to know that this ability has a 2-minute cooldown, so you definitely don't have it uptime as often as a Cannibal Barrage. With Cannibal Barrage, if you are very careful in terms of how you use your common points and working with the cooldown reduction, you're able to get Cannibal Barrage often. Killing Spree, on the other hand, does deal some really strong damage in the beta, and expect this damage to get some nerfs in the future, or overall Outlaw rogue damage might be nerfed in the future. But for now, time being, it can deal to about half health without any cooldowns, and basically score a kill if you have all your cooldowns available. Even on a warrior who is thrown at the very end of the last few hits of killing spree, he throws out a fear. While I do have burst available, I do have the warrior in a really good position where I can just kill him and he's just trinketed. So it's really a choice between killing spree and Cannibal Barrage depending on a situation. In most cases, the easy thing that I've been able to do is choose Cannibal Barrage for most battlegrounds where you can have multiple targets in the same area and you can use it far more often, or killing spree for single target damage. Now, before I did use Cannibal Barrage for arenas, and I still like using it to this day. I think Cannibal Barrage is an awesome ability. You can use it a lot more often. I feel like it's pretty great for 3s, but Killing Spree is great for 3s and 2s as well, simply because in 2s, games for the most part don't last too long as it's a DPS versus a DPS game. Second, in 3v3s, Killing Spree can sometimes be enough damage to burst someone down as long as they don't have a trinket and as long as there's no peels. The problem with Killing Spree is it can be peeled, so that's why I don't really use it in battlegrounds, because out of nowhere I can get feared, out of nowhere I can get stunned, out of nowhere I can get blinded, out of nowhere I can get gouged, and that is why I like running Cannibal Barrage against other rogues. If they're rolling something like Killing Spree, you can trinket gouge it. If you're sitting in a stun, or if the stun you're in Killing Spree and you, something like a gouge can literally dissolve this ability and make it completely useless. You don't even begin your full bursting rotation of 7 hits, and you just wasted a 2-minute cooldown, so now you're kind of on the back foot. With Cannibal Barrage, you can't really stop the ability, you can't really CC it. So here are some of the different examples that I have for you for Cannibal Barrage or Killing Spree. Now the question is, which one should you run? I guess you could go with the same model that I talked about before. Cannibal Barrage is great for battlegrounds, so in most cases you should run ABGs. And I guess technically Killing Spree deals so much damage for arenas that it's hard not to grab it, but technically it's all up to you. There's advantages and disadvantages with both abilities, and the only thing I can go for is Killing Spree deals a lot of single target damage, and Cannibal Barrage deals a lot of cleave damage. So this is why I run Cannibal Barrage indefinitely for BGs, and this is why I run Killing Spree in most cases for arenas. But you can swap them out and have different roles. As an Outlaw rogue, you do have some cleave potential, especially in arenas if you can stack both enemies together and force a lot of pressure, especially if it's like a healer and another DPS in like a 3v3 game. And Cannibal Barrage can hit multiple different targets, putting them all on the back foot. Especially with the amount of CC that you can add as an Outlaw rogue, you also just overall add a lot more pressure on the enemy team. Killing Spree can also be used in battlegrounds as well, in order to be able to catch someone like an FC just to knock them out while they're carrying the flag, and then get it over with and score for your team and whatever. Killing Spree also does follow the enemy for a little bit, which is great against casters and hunters, and it does return you to a safe location. So for example, most casters will try to run away if they can't stop a Killing Spree. Something like a mage who can't instantly stun you anymore will just try to run away and try to root you while the Killing Spree is happening, and then Killing Spree will teleport you back to the location where you started, where you can grapple and hook away to safety, catch a re-stealth, and maybe be able to work off of that and find some kind of opportunity there. Killing Spree again does deal a lot of damage but can be CC'd. Cannibal Barrage deals not quite as much damage as a Killing Spree, but cannot be CC'd and hits multiple targets. So the question is really up to you. Which one of these talents do you feel like you need to run? What are you valuing for? Are you valuing in kind of like an all-in build, but be careful not to get CC'd while you're bursting? Or are you more about being able to burst as often as possible, hitting as many foes as possible, cleaving your enemies down, and being able to really take control and put some pressure on the whole team? The answer is really for you to answer, because none of these abilities really make a difference. The only real difference they'll make is for raiding. For PvP, there's usefulness for both Killing Spree and Cannibal Barrage. If you're a raider, however, it's an easy Killing Spree for most single target fights, Cannibal Barrage for AoE. It's that simple. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this has answered your question of Killing Spree or Cannibal Barrage. I've been getting this question non-stop, and I just want to take the time at the end of the video to stress how often I've been getting this question. Hopefully I was able to go through this and talk you guys through it and help you guys decide which one is the best for you. Because for PvP, it doesn't matter as much as you think. It depends what you do with this spell. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.